Aloha, welcome back to Ina Bear Farm. Thought I'd do a first for the channel, take a little walk in the rain. Finally borrowed an umbrella, so I could do that without getting wet. As I mentioned in my last video, it's mid-March, we're in monsoon season here, so we were getting heavy rains. Just last night, my very official bucket meter tells me that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 inches. That's just overnight. We're supposed to get a lot more than that today into tomorrow. So you can tell it comes down heavy and fast. And it's a nice time of year. I mean, it's a little boring, but everything is really lush and green. It's got that nice kind of rainforest feel to it. You can see the ice cream bean, heavy flowering, got some pods on there. Another one of my very official rain buckets. Got these jaboticaba that have been in the ground for several years that haven't flowered yet, but they're getting to be a pretty decent size. So hopefully in the next couple of years we'll start to see some flowering. Our kahaluu avocado, heavy flowering right now and new leaves coming out. It's been doing pretty well, even though we got the avocado lace bug that comes and mostly seems to just attack the older leaves right around the time that new leaves are about to come out, so it doesn't seem to make a huge difference overall. This one hasn't held on to fruit yet, though. It's still pretty young, so we're kind of waiting to judge and see if it's going to make a difference in terms of fruit set. Coming up on one of our older Rolinias, and I've shown this in several videos, but this tree takes a lot of wind. So you can see like the upper portions where quite a few of the branches are defoliated. And I think that's probably a significant reason why it has never fruited. It's been flowering for years, but we haven't seen fruit on it. And it still sends out new shoots, lots of flowers, so hopefully it will gain enough strength and enough wind protection to fruit soon. That's definitely one of my favorites. There's a nice rack of Namwa bananas. Start ripening up soon. Another tree in the category of always flowering and not fruiting. This is a Zemon pink dwarf jackfruit. Lots of flowers over the years. You can see them hanging all through there, but nothing fruiting yet. And this one is similar to a few of our plants that get a like a fungal thing going on. As you can see there with all that spotting. And you know, a tree this size, I'm not going to come through and spray the whole thing with fungicide. It's just not worth it. So, you know, just keep working on feeding it. Here we've got a bunch of the chop and drop from the Tithonia, and make it as healthy as we can. And hope eventually it'll get past it. You can see it's like so gray, you can't really hardly make out the ocean. But you can see a nice little view of the food forest, the grass recently cut back in zone 2. A lot of our ground cover of perennial peanut. Really starting to spread with all the rains. Happy coconut. So we're out here where zone 3 sort of currently ends. and the grass has grown up full. When it rains a lot, you can see the grass starts to like lay down and get matted, which makes it really hard to mow. So not looking forward to clearing this. This is, we'll continue with zone 3 for a little bit further out, and then we'll start getting into the wilder zone 4 and zone 5. But here to just kind of take you guys down and show you, we've got a few things in here. There's a little banana. Down here, as we approach the property edge, there's a gulch. You can see all the wilder trees growing, and there's bananas down there in the gulch. And some of the river tamarind, the lucana growing back, so that's what a lot of that stuff is. And then there's the African tulip, which is super invasive in this area. This is one of our giant bamboo that we put in. That's just starting to send up new shoots. So I'm looking forward to being able to have that as a building construction material in the future. And then this is another variety of giant bamboo down here. The other one is striped, and then this one is just like a solid green. This one has actually sent out quite a lot of shoots, but it hasn't started to get all that big yet. So one thing we've got out here in our zone 4/5 are these older silk oak trees. They're invasive in this part of Hawaii. They don't tend to do a whole lot for the ecosystem. They may be allelopathic. They kind of create a pretty sparse shade. They're not very healthy. These ones aren't healthy. I do have a healthier one on the other side as we get kind of further back there. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 that we'll be probably taking down completely as we plant more stuff out here. And that way I don't have to run the risk of having them fall or having to take them down later when I have a lot of other more desirable trees growing out here. But at this point, we're sort of just making little random pukas in the grass, like here for an ice cream bean, over here for a loquat. Got a path that's pretty close to on contour, heads out and then loops back. And then in a couple of spots, I've got ice cream bean paired with iliahi, which is sandalwood. So you can see right here is the ice cream bean, the smaller iliahi there, and as the ice cream bean grows fast, it will provide a little bit of shade for the iliahi, and it will provide some nitrogen fixation relationship that the iliahi greatly benefits from. And then we've just got a lot of grass out here still. Just need a lot more trees. My goal is to come through and put in a lot of seeds out here. Ice cream bean, Gliricidia, Calliandra, Cispania, pigeon pea, a lot of nitrogen fixing, so-called pioneer species that can start to reforest this area. And then we'll put our more select stuff in there, including some natives like ohia and koa, and also some canoe plants like kukui. And here, this is back in zone 3, you can see we've got seeds of the Acacia confusa. So those tiny little guys coming up are really beneficial, and I'll show you. So I've got a couple of big ones back here in the older part of zone 3. What we're going for. So this one right here was grown from seed about 4 years ago, and it's about 20 feet tall and just as wide. So it's a very good early forest species. So even though it's rainy and I don't really want to be out here working in this, it's still nice to come out and take a little walk and let the dog get some exercise. Here's some debris. Yesterday we took out a huge cassava, harvested it, that purple leaf, and I should have weighed the roots because it was just a ton. I mean, froze 2 big freezer gallon bags full of cut up cooked cassava root, and then created 8 new plants from the propagation material from that. So I mean, just what an incredible survival food there, where you get tons of food and plenty of future plants. 6 to 9 months, you can harvest them again. So I'll probably stop here. Seems like a nice spot to just take in zone 2, where we've got all this perennial peanut filling in, and quite a bit of diversity up here with black sapote, mac nuts, lychee, several different types of ohia. Got some yellow pineapple flowering right here in the front. Caliandra, ice cream bean. Straight ahead is an Invera caju, a rare Annona species. Kukui, namwa bananas, apple bananas, soursop, and all of it this time of year really benefiting from all the extra moisture, all that nice woody material breaking down, creating all the mycelial fungal connections in the soil, and just waiting for that sun to come back so that we can have another growth spurt. So, alright, hope you enjoyed this little walk in the rain with me, and we'll see you back here again soon at Ina Bear Farm. Aloha.